Hello everyone, this is Zero, and today we are going back to our character unit perusal or review in World of Vision Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. This week we're looking at LEARTE. Okay, so who is LEARTE? She's an archer from Leonis 2nd Division, Chelum, who surprised those around her at a young age when she hits bullseyes with an arrow she fired while messing around. She joined Chelum after Lilith told her she could have become a world-class archer with the experience that she gained in the army. Okay, so what do we know on top of that? We know that she's in a relationship with another Chelum unit, which is Baelo. And that relationship does seem a bit interesting, but we'll explore a bit later. Okay, now, according to my research, the name LEARTE has Albanian origins, and it means born of gold. If you guys have played the game for a while, you know that this corresponds with the fact that she owns the Whimsy shop. So, we can do some math and figure out whether she's really born of gold. Just imagine how many customers she'd have. Alright, let's make some math. Now, imagine that in a day, her Whimsy shop spawns at least twice. And during a Whimsy shop session, someone in average would spend around 200,000 gil to buy crafting materials, eggs, whatnot, you know. So let's average out a total purchase of 200,000 gil. Now let's add also the fact that people would buy shards in her shops as well. So on average, 10 shards can cost 500 Vijor, or you end up buying 2 packs of 3 or 2 packs of 5. So let's average 500 gems per session. Now let's multiply that by the average number of players, daily players, from day one. So I have estimated about 500 people, and multiply that for a year. If my math doesn't fail me, she, up to this day, has earned 73 trillion gil and a whopping 182 billion 500 million Vijor. That is an insane amount of money. She's easily the richest, the richest person, the richest unit in Ardra. No question asked. I'd imagine that with that amount of money, she could buy a country if she was so inclined. But from the looks of it, she appears to have more down-to-earth ambitions, which is admirable. Yeah, you know what they say, never judge a book by their cover. Okay, now let's go back to actually analyzing her, and let's analyze her 2D design. Okay, the first thing I'm drawn to is the red scarf on her face, which with this shape leads to having a look at her extremely happy and smiling face. Then from this point onwards, I am drawn to look downwards, and also can't help to notice her bow over here. The first thing that comes to mind is that she has an extremely strong sense of fashion, and the dress that she's wearing certainly complements her body shape. I'd say that her corset has hints of Chinese dress, which I will put an example over here. Her choice of colors also reinforced that she has a strong sense of fashion, but the use of dark colors, shorter hair, and close to zero skin exposed may indicate that she's not interested in being noticed. Perhaps this is because she has already found her love, and she's quite happy in a relationship with Baelo. Overall, it's safe to say that she's found a great compromise between faction and form, both in and inside of battle. And another thing that I notice is her pose. It's quite dynamic, and from my experience, it would be safe to say that it expresses her extrovert and friendly nature. However, look at this. She's holding an arrow. So, in contrast, it might be an indication that she might want to keep distance between other people, but also try to protect herself and those that are close to her. Okay, let us compare the two in 3D designs. Let's try to get a good approximation over here. Yeah, I think we're a bit far. Okay, let's put this up here. That is a very long. Okay, we need to expand a bit more. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I noticed straight away here. The first is that they did a really good job at replicating her clothes, her outfit, and even in terms of shader, it's quite accurate. However, I can't help myself and not notice certain flaws. The first is her bow. I mean, in her 2D design, she's clearly right-handed. She's holding the bow in the right hand for someone that is right-handed. But in her 3D design, she's holding it with the left hand, and this makes no sense, especially with the fact that her quiver is positioned on her right, as well as the glove to knock arrows. It's a big shame. And another thing that I noticed is in regards to her face, the head shape is quite accurate, but if we have a look at the chin, um, yeah, her face is quite wide in the 3D design, and yeah, I am certainly more inclined in favoring the 2D design over the 3D model. Okay, now let's go and analyze the 3D model. Her body shape is reminiscent of a petite woman. And in combat, I think that her choice of becoming an archer is adequate. Um, let's imagine if she was actually a close combat fighter wielding a blade. I think she'd struggle in inflicting fatal blows, especially with the fact that she is shorter than other women in War of Division. And also, her weight would negatively impact um, on trying to deal a fatal blow, or one that the enemies would feel. Well, if we have a look at her skills, I think they're actually quite adequate. Archer, obviously, she has an extremely good aim, so that's a given. But let's have a look at her subs as well. I mean, I think she wants to retain the ability to have ranged attacks, but in a situation where an enemy would come closer, Lancer is appropriate. She still has mid-range skills, and she can deal mid-range damage. And likewise, White Mage seems to be adequate in regards to someone that stays in the back rows. If she needs to provide support to her team or those around her, she has the skill to do it. However, her Mage is definitely on the low side. So if you have a look at her skills, yeah, I can see Esna, I can see Protect and Shell, and Raise and Full Life. So I think I probably want to use those skills rather than Kura and Kurada and the rest. Anyway, it seems like we went on a tangent here, so let's go back on track. Okay, overall, let's go back to the 3D design again. Here we get the chance to see that her dress is actually two-piece, well, three, but she has a jacket on top of her corset to cover her arms. This looks to be more a decorative addition rather than protective. And perhaps this also reinforces the fact that she's trying to cover as much skin as possible. She doesn't want to be noticed. And yes, also the scarf does cover what could be perceived as showing cleavage and chest. So I think we have a strong message here saying that she's not interested in attracting anyone. And yeah, hard to miss those sweaty armpit patches, but sweaty patches. But hey, it's bound to happen in combat, right? I mean, we're talking about medieval times, maybe equivalent to our world. So back in the days, women didn't shave, so it's just bound to happen. Anyway, overall, I think that her design is good. She has that hybrid look of combat and fashion, and she did a good job at adding elements to balance those two aspects. All right, let's go and see who she reminds us of. So, I'm not sure if you guys have watched the show Schitt's Creek, but the first character that came in mind was Twyla from that show. I see a lot of similarities in regards to the fact that they're both very wealthy and they own a shop. But they do that out of the fact that they like doing what they want rather than out of monetary reasons. And also, both have done arguably poor choices in men. I mean, Baelo has his flaws as well, but she seems to be quite accepting of him. So we'll touch over those flaws when we review Baelo. And despite being millionaires, trillionaires, whatever, they're both very humble people. So yeah, definitely I do see a lot of similarities to Twyla. And I think that overall she was modeled around what an ideal long-term relationship partner will be. We have seen a lot of aspects of LEARTE. She's kind, she's caring, she has a very successful career, and she's also financially independent. And she also seems to have a good tasting wardrobe, and her expectations are realistic, and as well as her goals. So I'd imagine that most people would like those qualities in a life partner. Um, when living with someone else, you want to accentuate each other's, let's say, strengths and complement the flaws and work on them together. And having a partner that has already covered the basis of what will help in a successful relationship is definitely something that a lot of people with down to their average, on average, I'd say most men that is what they'd like, perhaps, but that changes from culture to culture. Maybe I'm generalizing too much. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review of LEARTE. Definitely more material than I thought I'd have to cover. And if you guys like this reviews, let me know. Drop a message in the comment. Let me know what I could cover on next time. I'm always happy to explore other avenues and look deeper into a character. I think it is just natural for us to review Baelo next week. So please do keep an eye for that video releasing on Saturday as well. And I believe those will be all the units for the Cellum division. So we'll make a decision on who we'll review after Baelo next week. Okay, guys and girls, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you like my material, and drop a comment. Let me know what you thought of this review, and we'll see you guys on Monday for in-game news. You guys take care. We'll see you then.